Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So how you guys doing? So today we're just going to be making a crop top. So that's what we're going to be making today, and I'm going to be using this fabric here, which I made the palazzo for in the other tutorial. So that's what we're going to be making today. So now the first thing I did is this crop top is a very simple one. So the first thing I did is I fold my fabric into 4. So this is like 4, so it means I'm going to be cutting both the front and the back together. So this is like the easiest crop top tutorial you will see online. So the full measurement of the top I want to use, I want it to be around 19 inches. I want it to be around 19 inches. So this is my 19 inches here. Then I'm going to be adding 1 inch for my hemming allowance. So I'm going to be converting this into a straight line. So let me cut this out. So now the next thing to do is to work on your neckline. So the neckline I want to work with 3.5 by 3.5 for the front, 3.5 by 3.5 for the front. Then for the back I want to work with 1.5. So I'm going to be connecting this and making my neckline. So it means that when I'm cutting, I'll firstly cut for that of the back before I cut for the front. So the next thing to do is work on your shoulder line. So the shoulder line I'm working with 16. So 16 divided by 2 is going to be giving me 8 inches. So from this 8 inches now, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch, which is for my shoulder slope. Then I'm going to also be going up by ½ inch, which is going to be for my joining allowance. So assuming I'm working with my pattern paper, I don't need to be going up by that ½ inches. When I'm cutting it on the fabric is when I'll do that. But because I'm working directly on the fabric here, so I have to do that. So the next thing to do is to get your armhole curve. So getting your armhole curve, you divide your bust measurement by 6, adding 1.5. So for me it's 7.5. So this is my 7.5 here. So I'm going to be repeating what I have on my shoulder measurement here, and I'm going to be repeating it here to get my 8 inches, so that I can just get a straight line. So from here this way, I'm just going to get my armhole curve. So the next thing to do is to work on the on your bust measurement. So the bust measurement I'm working with is around 36. So 36 divided by 4 is going to be giving me around 9 inches. It's going to be giving me 9 inches. So 9 inches plus my ease, I'm going to be adding 1 inch for ease, which is 10, and I'm going to be adding my normal sewing allowance, which is 1.5. So I have 11.5 here. So please remember to add your ease. So it depends on you how big you want it to look. So but for me 1 inch is just okay for my own ease. So that is why I added 1 inch. So my bust is 9, 1 inch for ease, then 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. So I'm going to be repeating the same thing here. Since we are not using a zipper, so I don't need to reduce the measurement for the waist so that it can enter me. So this is it. So the next thing to just do is to cut this out. So when I'm cutting out, I'll firstly start with the neckline for the back. So you can see what I'm doing. So I cut out the neckline for the back first. So now I'm going to work on the neckline for the front and the armhole for the front. So now I'll cut out the neckline for the front. So as you can see me doing, that's how you do yours too. Then for the armhole side, you know that when you're cutting out for your front, we go in by ½ inches. So that's what I'm going to do here. So from here now, you get your midpoint. So 7.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 3.75. So from here now, I'll go in by ½ inches. So then I'm going to be connecting my ½ inches back to my armhole and back to the upper part. So you see the way I'm doing it this way. So you can see that I went in by ½ inch this way. So that is just it for, so that's just the difference between the front and the back. So now I'm going to be taking this to the sewing machine to sew. Now if you have enough material, you can turn it with your material. If you do not have enough material, you can use your bias to do that. But for me, I think I have enough material, so I'm just going to turn it over. So I'm going to be cutting a piece for the turning. So guys, I cut out this piece of fabric to turn the front neckline and for the back neckline. So for the front neckline, this is the pieces I cut out. So I'm just going to do right sides facing each other. So I'm just going to sew this way. Now you notice that the neckline we used was 3.5 by 3.5, yes. But for the back neckline we used 3.5 by 1.5. Now if you sew it this way and you eventually join your shoulder measurement and everything, what you will notice is that the neckline is going to be tight for you to put on. So since this cloth does not have a zipper, I'm going to be making a little opening here, which is going to be for my button. I hope you understand. So let's just go ahead and do that now. So this is just going to be for my button. So you can come down as long as you want. If you want it to open, to extend, you can do that. But for me, I think I'm just going to work with like 3.5 opening. So 3.5 opening is okay. 4 inches opening is okay. So I think let me just make it 4. So this is 4 inches. So I'm just going to be making an opening here. So I made it 4 inches. So this is where I'm just going to put my button around this side. So I'm going to also be doing it for the facing. So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead to turn the neckline. Then I'll come back and show you what we have here. So let me just go ahead to do that and show you. So guys, I've gone ahead to turn the neckline. So this is for the front. You can see how neat it's looking. So that's because as I was done turning, I ironed it out. So you see that it's looking very neat. So this is for the front and this is for the back. So this is for the back. So when I was doing the neckline for the back, I cut out a little piece of elastic band so that I can use it to attach to my button this way. So this is the inside part of it. So you can see how neat it is. So if you have enough fabric, it's just better you turn it with fabric instead of using bias. But if you don't, it also works perfectly. So this is it. So the next thing to do now is just to join my shoulder line. So to join my shoulder line, I'm going to be placing the front side with the front side of the back this way. I'm just going to do it this way. Then you open up each part like this. So let's say this is your back, this is the front, this way. So you open it up like this. So you open it up like this. Then you stitch on 1/2 inches. Remember the 1/2 inches we left? So you just stitch on 1/2 inches on each side. So when I'm done doing that, this is the sleeve we are going to be using. So the sleeve I want to work with is around 6 inches. 6 inches is just fine for me. So I'm just going to cut out my basic sleeve now. So to cut out your basic sleeve, the usual, you measure your 8 inches. So this is my 8 inches. So from this 8 inches now, you go down by 4 inches. I'm just repeating my 8 inches here. So now you connect from this 4 inches downwards that you went down. You just make a curve like this. So if you have this armhole curve, it makes your work a lot easier. But if you don't, you can just use your hand to trace it out. So if you don't have it, it's fine. It's not like you can use your hand, you get. So you just do it this way. So you now measure the round sleeve of your client. So for me, I think my round sleeve is around, so I'm going to be using 12 inches for my round sleeve. My round sleeve is around 11, but I added 1/2 inch, or probably I can even use 13 so that it's not going to be tight. So if I'm using 13, it means that 13 divided by 2 is going to be giving me 6.5, and I'm going to be adding 1/2 inches or 1 inches for my sewing allowance. So this is it here. So it means that here I placed around 7.5. So you just connect it back to your 8 inches this way, and you just. So now the entire measurement I have here is around 8.5. Now the reason is because I'm going to be using 2 inches to turn it this way, and I'm also going to be using the remaining ½ inches to join it to the shoulder line. So let me go ahead to fix the shoulder line and turn this part, then I'll come back and fix it with you guys. So now I've gone ahead to join the shoulder, so you can see how neat it is. So if you do it the way I showed you the other time, that is how it's going to come out. So I went ahead to turn the down part of the sleeve. So this is the sleeve. I told you I wanted it to be around 6 inches. So you notice that this is looking like 1.5. That's because I added 2 inches, so I used ½ inches to fold it in. So this is what I'm having here. So I've gone ahead to, I went ahead to take in my measurement. I have not sewn it yet because I'm going to be fixing the sleeve before I fix it, but so that I can just fix the sleeve and just do everything at once. So now you just open it up this way. So it's going to be right sides facing each other. So this is your sleeve, right sides facing each other. You get the midpoint. So you get the midpoint of your sleeve, then you fix it this way. So this midpoint is going to be on this joining area that you have here. Then you place it this way. So I'm going to sew it all around like this, using the ½ inch that I added. So I'm going to do the same thing also for the second part of the sleeve. So I will do the same thing for the second half of the sleeve. So you can see. So I just take it to the sewing machine and sew. So when I'm done, I'm just going to sew the 1.5 inches that I marked out. I remember that on this sleeve I added 1 inch, so I'm just going to do that and come back and show you. So guys, this is it after I was done with everything I'm supposed to do. So now I'm going to be this is the front side. So I went ahead to iron it. So I went ahead to turn the down part also, and I fixed the sleeve and everything. But let me open it up so that you see all the joining inside. So this is when I turn the down parts. I used a hair. So you know that when I was cutting, I cut out 20 inches. So because I wanted my top to be around 19 inches. But by the time I wanted to fold, I did not like the small folding, because you know if you give it 1 inch, it means you use half to turn it in. It's going to be remaining half. So I did not like it, so I just had to increase it to like 2 inches. So I used 2 inches to turn. So this entire top is now 18 inches. It's no longer 19 inches. So I went ahead to fix the sleeves also. So that is it. But please note that when you are cutting the sleeve, when I cut out my sleeve, I added sewing allowance to the round sleeve area. I did not add sewing allowance to the curved area. So please, when you are doing your own, so please add your sewing allowance. But mine is going to fit me perfectly because I'm on the small side. So if you're on the big side, you will need your measurements complete. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this tutorial is short and simple for you to recreate your own. So I'm going to be seeing you in my next tutorial, guys.